Unity of the Huachucas presents Reverend Charli Tupper.
Faith, forgiveness, and fruits.
Good morning. I just wanted to take a minute and tell you a story. I want to begin with a story. So, many years ago, more than I would like to admit, I went on a backpacking trip with my husband in the Sierra Mountains. And prior to going on this trip, I did various things to build up my stamina and so that I would be able to keep up. The terrain was beautiful, and the quiet just filled me with a serenity. And we hiked above the tree line, and there were little lakes and streams, the bright skies during the day, and billions of stars at night. All is good. In our younger years, my husband was a bit of an adventurer, and sometimes his ideas didn't quite work out the way he planned. Any of that ever happened to any of us? I know it's happened to me. Anyway, it was getting later in the afternoon, and we saw this little lake down at the bottom of this hill. Now, the hill was solid rocks, boulders, and it wasn't really designed for anybody to traverse. It was solid rocks and boulders. And so, but it was the easier way to get there. So my husband says, we can do this. And I thought, well, as a child, I loved climbing on rocks. I loved jumping from rock to rock. That was my outdoor activity. And when we started down this hill, these boulders would wobble below my feet. And if one of the boulders were to let loose, it would let loose everything. Everything was balanced just perfectly so that the rock would stay exactly where it was. So I got really scared. And I sat down on a rock. I was about halfway down the mountain. I sat down on a rock and I just thought, I can't do this. It was like, I can't go back up and I can't go down. What am I going to do? God, help me. And I heard this in my mind. He shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. I knew in that moment that I could hold on to that promise. Angels were holding me, bearing me up, lest I dash my foot against a stone. Today's talk is faith, forgiveness, and fruits. I call these the 3 F's of our spiritual journey because they all work together. They go hand in hand. Faith is often misunderstood. We say we have faith in God to do for us. But in Hebrews, it says, now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. By faith, we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not visible. Let's back up to the first part of this quote. Faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. In the side notes, it says, assurance can also be interpreted as reality. What we hope for is already We cannot hope for something that is yet to be in God. It is we who must lay hold of and remember this truth to bring it into form. What holds us back? What is it that prevents us from being able to know the reality of what we hope for? One biggie: unforgiveness. We look at others and we judge them for how they are showing up, or how they look or talk, or what color they are, or what they believe. We judge those who we believe have hurt us. We play the scene over and over again in our minds, and each time it grows and changes. We begin to believe that we are right and they, whoever they are wrong, or they do not belong. There's a lot of fear in the world right now. And one of the ways that fear shows up is in seeing people as other, or holding things against people. We want to try and control what's going on. One of the things that you often hear me say is that we are 100% human, 100% divine. So when I talk about faith as the assurance of things hoped for, that doesn't mean that I don't ever walk through a difficult experience. Some of you know that right now I am walking through a very difficult experience. That my son is facing a health challenge that I cannot control. And I can't just rise above it and pretend that it's not happening, but I can have faith in the presence of God. That's my hope. My hope is knowing that the presence of God is right here, right now. The presence of God is active in this situation. Now, I have no idea how this situation is going to turn out. But I know that the presence of God that is within me and that is all around me, that is within him and all around him, within his family, all around them, within my husband and around him, that no matter where we are, God is. Okay, another little story that has come up, and that is when I was applying for ministerial school, I was at the village, and the kids, Sunday school had made these dots, and they put them all over Unity Village. I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say that there were probably more than 100 of them at the village in different places. And I picked one up, and it said, "There is no spot where God is not." There is no spot where God is not. Well, later that day, my friend and I were driving, and my daughter called, and she told me that her brand new baby, that the doctor sent her to have an x-ray on her lung because he didn't like the sound of her breathing. And when she did, they found a spot on her lung. Wow. So I'm sitting there and I'm going, what do I do with this? And I look at the dashboard, and there's that spot. There's that reminder. And I said, there is no spot where God is not. And so in this moment, we know that if the baby has a spot, that God is there too. So let's just hold that. Let's hold that truth. And she called me back a couple days later, and she said, "Mom, there's no spot." Now, I don't know if it was a little glitch on the x-ray or what it was. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the power of God, the power of knowing the presence of God, that's our assurance our assurance is knowing that God is present. God is present. And so when we think about people as other, when we think about those people that we might be holding something against, Jesus said this, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it is yours. Whenever you stand praying, forgive if you have anything against anyone, so that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. So let's look at that for a moment, because I want everybody to take a breath. One of the things that this says is, if you have anything against anyone, no exceptions, no justifications. Well, that's a pretty strong order. I mean, don't you think? It's a pretty strong order. But what I also know is that if I am willing to be willing to forgive, that counts. Because what I'm doing is I am asking for help in that moment. So maybe my prayer request is actually, help me forgive. Help me forgive. This feels unforgivable. Whatever it is, help me forgive. And believe that the presence of God that is right there is helping you forgive. So this very last piece says, so that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses. So when we talk about your Father in heaven, I believe that Jesus was really talking about the Christ presence within us. That connection to the divine within us. That when we hold something against someone else, we are not able to forgive ourselves. It's not about God out there saying, I'm going to punish you. I'm going to whip you into shape. It's about the God in here loving us so much that Jesus says, forgive so that you can experience forgiveness. You can experience that forgiveness within yourself. So how do you know when you've forgiven someone? Does that mean you forget? I don't think so. I don't believe it's about forgetting. I believe that it is about really being fully present to ourselves, and that person has safe passage through our mind. That we can think that person's name or see that person walking down the street, and they have safe passage in our mind. We don't condemn them. We don't beat them up. Now, does that mean that we invite them over for lunch? Not necessarily. We don't have to invite everybody over for lunch. It means that we are set free within ourselves. We are the ones who are set free in the act of forgiveness. Forgiveness is the key that opens the door to true faith. Not faith that magic will happen, but faith in the omnipresent creative energy of the divine in our lives. It's through faith and the power of forgiveness that we experience the fruits of the Spirit that are always available to us. So the fruits of the Spirit are, in Galatians 5:22, it says, by contrast, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. There is no law against such things. Now, I've never noticed it before, but I did notice it this time. These same things define love. The Spirit is love, joy, and peace. And we experience the fruits of the Spirit. We experience the fruits of love, of patience and kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. These are the gifts that we receive from faith and forgiveness. They are the gifts that we automatically receive. So often I hear people say, oh, don't pray for patience because, you'll get every excuse to exercise patience. I don't pray for patience. I don't pray for self-control or faithfulness or generosity. I affirm that it is already true. I have faith. These are the gifts of the Spirit. These are my hope. These are the things that I hope to express in this world. And so my faith is that I already have these. They are the substance. I am assured of that they already exist. And I claim them. Let's take this into meditation. So I just invite you in this moment to know the presence of God. However you experience the presence, whether it's by taking a breath and focusing on that breath for a moment, whether it is just saying a word, saying peace, be still, peace, be still. So we breathe into this space. What is it that you hope for? What of these fruits of the Spirit are calling forth from within you, saying, I am here, claim me. Claim this truth for yourself. I am peace. I am patience. I am faithful. I am love. I am joy. Whatever it is that is calling forth to be expressed as you, we call that forth now. And so I invite you just to take a moment in the silence and allow yourself to feel this energy, the energy of this gift that you are receiving in this very moment. We claim this to be true. We claim it to be so. Amen. God bless you and have a great day.